In today's video, we discuss artificial sweeteners in energy drinks. Should you avoid them in contest prep? And I give you my reasons.
All by myself.
Hey guys, this is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. Welcome to the video. Today we're going to discuss the topic of getting very lean, being a physique athlete, and the role that artificial sweeteners and energy drinks can play in that process. I'm going to explain to you my background, where I come from, and what I'd really like to do is just put some information out there and get you guys input and let you know, maybe there's some options out there for you. So first things first, if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button here. I really appreciate it. I've been super excited to get new subscribers. The questions that I get, they come from my Instagram direct message. So here's my Instagram, follow along, send me a direct message. I will try to answer it. I've been getting so many good questions lately that it's been hard to keep up. But today's topic came from there, and it came specifically in the form of should or why do people cut out artificial sweeteners in contest prep? And so to discuss this, we have to kind of go back to the lores of contest prep from years and years ago. The way people would get lean years and years ago, before macronutrients were very well known, that being protein, carbs, fats, calories, what they would do is they would do a replacement diet, meaning they would replace certain foods in their diet with other foods, and then they would feel like they were getting leaner. And thus those foods became associated with a successful contest prep. Let's say you're getting the bulk of your protein from ground beef. Now, when you stall and you're not making progress, you go, you know what? I'm gonna switch to a white fish. Well, magically, you begin to lose weight. Why? Well, obviously now we know it's because there's a big calorie difference between ground beef and fish, right? So if you're creating a caloric deficit, there are going to be some benefits to body composition. But early on, it became more about the foods. You have to eat this fish to thin the skin, okay? The thin skin comes from being low body fat, and so people started to make that association. I feel the reason that artificial sweeteners become demonized is because it allows us to eat foods that would typically not be associated with being lean. Okay, for example, if you take something that has lots of sugar in it, replace it with an artificial sweetener, and you get a lower calorie version, well, are you gonna see improvements in body composition? All things being equal, yes you will. A big example of this would be something like Halo Top ice cream, something that I really enjoy. So why is Halo Top so good? Well, for the same pint of ice cream that you would get from Ben & Jerry's, when you have a Halo Top, you save several hundred calories. But then what happens is people will start to attack you and say, well, you shouldn't be having that on contest prep. This is not the best option for you. To which I would say, contest prep is not about grinding through months and months of eating the same boring food and giving yourself an eating disorder, okay? Yes, there are certainly better options, but I would say the psychology of contest prep, if having a pint of ice cream every now and then that allows you to stay on your plan and makes it sustainable is more successful, then that is the better choice, okay? Just because you could have replaced that with some whole foods, only leading to, let's say, a binge session because you haven't had anything like crazy in a while, well, that's where I find the big problem to be with contest prep. Now, there may actually be some issues with artificial sweeteners, okay? What would those issues be? Well, I think the digestive issues that we're most concerned about are some people actually have a problem digesting these. They will complain of being gassy, being bloated. When that would be a real problem for a physique athlete or a competitor would be closer to the show day. So if there is any uncertainty, I would certainly remove artificial sweeteners the day of, the day before the show, okay? But the day before you step on stage, the day before you have a photo shoot. Why? We just don't want to mess with anything. We don't want months and months of work to come down to the fact that we felt a little bloated. In fact, for my competitors on show day, I tell them to have their coffee black, even if they usually put some Splenda in it, okay? That's just because I want to eliminate variables. We're trying to eliminate variables. But I don't have them have their coffee black 6 months out from the show. No, as we get closer, we start to pay attention to some of the things that matter. Now, when it comes to energy drinks, I know a lot of times these energy drinks can get a little bit demonized as well. So this is the new energy drink by Murica Energy, okay? I am sponsored by them, so yeah, anything you hear to say is going to be biased because I quite actually love Murica Energy drinks, okay? I probably have 1 or 2 a day. Why? Well, they've got some great ingredients like choline and guarana that are gonna help me, caffeine, that are gonna help me have energy and focus throughout the day. I don't like drinking coffee all day, okay? So this comes down to personal preference. Now, some people would say, well, Paul, there's a lot of artificial sweeteners in there. Yes, but that's to save calories, okay? Obviously, I wouldn't be able to have many of these if they had the same amount of calories as a Coke has, okay? The 0 calorie factor is a real reason that I'm able to have these. And I'll be honest, when I've been dieting for a long period of time and I'm getting hungry between my meals, something like a Murica Energy lets me feel kind of satiety, feel like satiated, like I had something. The caffeine, the drink itself, the flavor, the sweetness, it allows me to avoid the hungry feeling. And so I've really benefited from using these. Now, there are lots of varieties of energy drinks, so I wouldn't say that they're all good or they're all bad. It just comes down to what you're looking at. Sometimes I think if someone's not really aware of nutrition and they go in and they grab an energy drink from the store and they don't realize there's 60, 70, 80 grams of sugar and they're not an active person, well then maybe it's not the best option. You see, I don't believe sugar is a problem. I believe lifestyle is a problem. And if you're taking in tons of sugar and you're very, very sedentary, that can be an issue, especially if your calories are way out of range. However, if you're a very, very active person like myself, I do not concern myself with sugar intake at all. The only time I concern myself with sugar intake is when it comes to making sure I get enough fiber for the day, making sure that I'm actually taking enough food to feel full, okay? I would never replace all my meals with just sugary foods. However, it's very common for me to get over 100 grams of sugar a day and I am well below 10% body fat. Why? Because my lifestyle. So sugar is not the issue here, okay? It's the overall picture. But we're gonna demonize something like an energy drink. Why? It helps us stay up later, it helps us play more video games, and it helps us take in more calories just like that. So they can be a problem, but this is about decision making. So should you remove artificial sweeteners and energy drinks during your fat loss phase? I say no, not unless it's something that you just don't believe in. Don't be pressured, okay? There is nothing wrong with them, but if it's something that you don't feel like having in your daily routine, then don't have it. But for someone like myself, I feel completely normal having it. I will keep them in. And the leaner I get, sometimes I'll lean on them more. My caffeine might be a little bit higher. My intake of artificial sweeteners might be a little bit higher. But as I come out of this phase of being very lean, well, I will lower my intake of caffeine and I'll lower in my intake of artificial sweeteners, okay? And it all comes down to balance for myself, what I feel comfortable with. And I don't really feel that it matters to be judged by anyone on the internet. Your diet does not make you better than somebody else. Just because you choose foods that you feel have an ethical value to them doesn't add any value to your life. You're just judging other people. I don't do that. I do what's best for me, what I want to do. I preach that to my clients and I want everyone to have that feeling. And so that's where I lie with artificial sweeteners. Are they the greatest thing in the world? Probably not. You can probably overdo it, okay? But I also don't feel like there's a problem with them if you enjoy them. That's it for today, guys. Hopefully you got some value out of this. You can follow along the Instagram. You can send me your questions and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
By myself.